The actress Lauren Choose was let go from the ABC comedic drama series Love Boat. With very little credits to her name, Love Boat would then be her first major role. During her 7-season run on the show, Cho's marriage would fall apart, resulting in her being addicted to cocaine, which later got her fired and put a blemish on her career. In a 1985 interview, a year after Cho's was fired from the show, she explained her reason on what happened. "I behaved poorly at work, I didn't sleep. I slept on set, and that is where I made my fatal mistake," she said. Producer of the show Aaron Spelling would also touch on the subject in his memoir, A Primetime Life. "We were forced to not pick up Lauren Cho's contract after season 7. Lauren usually stayed to herself on set, so nobody knew she was having problems. Once we found out it was drugs, we were all sad," Spelling said in his memoir. But while Cho's was struggling with substance abuse and not being on the good side of the execs made her an easier target to get fired. After being replaced by Pat Klaus, who played the character Judy McCoy, a year later Lauren would make a guest appearance in a 1985 episode. Although Cho's addiction was mostly based off her newly major on-screen role, which came with a lot of attention she wasn't used to. Cho's would later begin her journey towards sobriety. In a 2014 interview with the Oprah Network, she stated, "Today, it's a normal thing if you have a drug or an alcohol or a sex addiction. Your producers would say, 'Well, here, let's give you a couple of months off and get you straightened out.' Well, I wasn't lucky enough to work for those people," she said. For her drug addiction, Lauren would pay with her career. Based on the rumors surrounding her at the time, she spent years without landing a role. During the 2014 interview, she also stated, "I was blacklisted. Years later, people say, 'We couldn't hire you then. The word was out on you.'" Hearing this backstory on what happened with the former Love Boat star, what are your thoughts on how she was let go, and was the producers in the wrong for not getting her help?
In 1980, Three's Company was a titan of television, a comedy powerhouse built on misunderstandings and vibrant chemistry. But behind the laughter, a serious conflict was brewing, centered on its breakout star, Suzanne Somers. As the show prepared for its 5th season, Somers, who had become a national icon as Chrissy Snow, was earning $30,000 per episode. In contrast, her co-star John Ritter was the show's designated lead, and his salary reflected that. When it came time for contract renegotiations, Somers, guided by her husband and manager Alan Hamill, decided to make a stand. She wasn't just asking for a raise, she was demanding parity. Her request was for $150,000 per episode, a figure that would put her on equal footing with male stars of comparable hit shows. She felt her contribution to the show's massive success warranted it. The network, ABC, and the show's producers were stunned. They saw her demand not as a fair request, but as an act of defiance. The negotiations quickly broke down. Instead of a counteroffer, the network presented a paltry $5,000 increase and an ultimatum. When Somers and Hamill held their ground, the network chose to play hardball. They wouldn't fire her outright, not yet. Instead, they began a systematic campaign to diminish her presence, effectively icing her out while she was still under contract. The atmosphere on set during season 5 turned toxic. The tension was unbearable. Somers was professionally isolated. She was no longer allowed to interact with her co-stars on camera. Scripts were hastily rewritten, reducing Chrissy's role to brief, awkward phone-in scenes from her mother's bedside. Somers would arrive on set after the main cast had finished, filming her short segments alone, often talking to a mark on the wall instead of her fellow actors. The camaraderie that had made the show a hit was gone, replaced by a cold, silent war. For Somers, every trip to the studio was a painful reminder of her exile. It was a high-stakes battle of wills played out in the national spotlight, a tense prelude to the moment the network would finally sever ties, ending one of TV's most famous comedy ensembles. Jeff Garlin's departure from the Goldbergs in late 2021 was the culmination of multiple HR investigations into his on-set behavior. While Garlin himself denied being fired in an interview, stating it was a mutual agreement, reports from cast and crew painted a different picture. Allegations included a pattern of verbal and physical conduct that made people uncomfortable, such as unwanted hugs and the use of inappropriate language. Garland defended his actions, describing himself as a big teddy bear and a hugger. He even joked about the situation in his stand-up comedy routines. Following a mutual agreement to leave during the 9th season, his character's remaining appearances were awkwardly managed using a body double and superimposed facial images. For Season 10, the writers made the definitive decision to kill off his character, Murray Goldberg. Co-star Wendy McClendon-Covey later described his exit as a long time coming and a relief to the cast, alluding to the PTSD of the situation. The show would then continue, focusing on the family's life after the patriarch's off-screen death.